If burial is your funeral tradition for yourself or for a member of your family, then at some point you or your family will come into a room like this to pick out a casket. Well, I get a lot of questions on what does a casket look like, what's it made out of, and why does it cost what it costs? So let's take a look. So caskets are into two different categories. They're either made of metal, like these two right here, which are really pretty obvious. You can see the steel, or they're made out of wood. Metal caskets can vary in price depending on the most expensive ones being made out of bronze and copper, and then stainless steel, and then varying thicknesses of steel. Now, the thickness of the steel will add to the price, but people say, what's the difference? Why would you even do that? It allows a manufacturer to stretch the steel into different shapes. You wouldn't be able to do this shape with a certain thinness of steel. You have to do it with a certain gauge thickness, and that adds a little bit to the cost. The interior also is something that causes the price to fluctuate. So less expensive ones are made out of crepe like this. More expensive are made out of different fabrics like this, or velvet, which is probably the most expensive. Metal caskets are very obvious. Let's talk about wood caskets. Wood caskets are very obvious as well. So if you look at this one, you can really see the wood grain on it. And what goes into making this the price that it is? Well, a couple of things, and they're all things that you can check with your hand. Caskets are still one of the very few things that are made from wood that are made by hand, mostly by hand, not entirely, but mostly by hand, and they are made with 1-inch wood boards. Very seldom, well, increasingly, there's veneer being used in these caskets. But for the most part, most of these caskets are made out of solid hardwood. This one is made out of oak, and you can tell the thickness of the oak by actually putting your hand underneath there and feeling the rail of that. That's actually a 1-inch board that's been milled down to be able to fit like this. Again, it is a combination of the interior, the type of wood that's used. The most expensive ones are going to be made out of mahogany, cherry wood, and then coming down in price, oak and poplar and pine. Those are the most popular. So I also get the question about, hey, what happens in the foot end of the casket? So I opened one up to show it to you. So this casket is made out of oak, and here's the foot panel that is open. Now, there isn't anything terribly unique about this, but what makes a difference in the price is that something you don't see when you come in here, or even when you come into the funeral home. There is actually a bed inside of here. That bed is controlled by the use of a key, both in the head portion and in the foot portion. We can raise and lower this bed so that viewing the body becomes more favorable, and that we can lower the body into the casket before we close the casket, so there's no contact with the lid when the casket is closed. So those are some of the differences that go into a casket and why one might be more expensive than another.